All right, so let's jump right in. Today, we're diving deep into the crypto market, taking a close look at this recent report from Crypto Deep Dive.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Fresh off the press, December 16th, 2024.
Exactly. And it's got some pretty wild numbers. I mean, a $3.76 trillion market cap.
Yeah, and a 64% jump in trading volume just in the last 24 hours. Things are moving fast.
They really are. The report also highlights that Bitcoin's dominance is on the rise, now over 56%. What does that tell us? I mean, for someone who's trying to make sense of all this.
Well, Bitcoin dominance, or its share of the total crypto market cap, can be a good indicator of what investors are thinking.
Okay, I'm listening.
When it rises, it often suggests a shift back to Bitcoin, kind of like a safe haven, a digital gold, if you will.
Interesting. So Bitcoin's price is just one part of the story. Its dominance can actually reveal the mood of the whole market.
You got it. And speaking of Bitcoin, we can't ignore what MicroStrategy just did.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
They bought another 15,300 Bitcoin, adding to their already massive stash.
It's hard to wrap your head around, honestly. 439,000 Bitcoin in total, worth something like $47 billion. That's over 2% of all the Bitcoin out there.
It's a bold strategy for sure. But, Michael Saylor, the founder of MicroStrategy, has always been a big believer in Bitcoin.
Right. He's all in on it.
Totally. He's convinced it's the future of finance, a better store of value than traditional assets like, well, gold. This latest purchase just shows how serious they are about that.
So for everyday investors, what's the takeaway from this MicroStrategy move? Should we be following their lead?
That's the question, isn't it? Does this massive buy-in make you more confident in Bitcoin? Or does it make you nervous about so much power concentrated in one place?
Those are good questions. It's definitely something to think about. Now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about Ripple. They're about to launch their own stablecoin, RLUSD.
Oh yeah, the buzz is real on that one. A lot of folks are curious to see what happens.
I've heard of stablecoins, but to be honest, I'm not totally clear on what they are. And why is Ripple jumping into this?
Right, so stablecoins are basically cryptocurrencies designed to stay stable in value. They're usually pegged to a fiat currency, like the US dollar.
Got it.
As for why Ripple is doing this, well, it's probably a way for them to branch out and stay competitive. The decentralized finance space, or DeFi, is exploding right now, and stablecoins are key players in a lot of that.
Makes sense. But if they're designed to be stable, are there still risks with stablecoins?
You always have to be careful. I mean, the idea is stability, but there's always the chance of something called depegging. That's when the stablecoin loses its link to the asset it's supposed to track. And then you've got the whole regulatory landscape, which is still pretty unclear.
So doing your research is essential before you jump into any stablecoin, just like with any investment.
Absolutely. Don't just blindly follow the hype. Actually, it's funny. Ripple's CTO even warned about getting caught up in early speculation. He told a story about someone bidding $1,200 for RLUSD before it was even out.
Wow, that's some serious FOMO right there.
Yeah, people get swept up in the excitement. Which reminds me of another interesting development in the DeFi space. Aave is actually considering leaving Polygon.
Leaving Polygon. That's a big deal. Why would they do that?
It looks like there are concerns about profitability and how much the network is actually being used. At the end of the day, Aave is a business.
Yeah, they need to make sure it makes sense financially.
Exactly. And this situation with Aave and Polygon really highlights the challenges that come with building on different blockchains. It's not just about the tech, it's about the economics, the community, the overall health of the whole ecosystem.
So this goes beyond just Aave and Polygon. It's a sign of the bigger picture, the challenges that DeFi platforms are facing as they try to figure out how to work within this changing world.
Exactly. And for investors, it emphasizes the importance of being careful about which platforms and protocols you choose to use.
Okay, got it. Now, I have to ask about this. The report mentions the Bitcoin to gold ratio hitting a record high, 40 ounces of gold per Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin really becoming digital gold, like some people are saying?
Well, it's definitely something to watch. I mean, it does reflect Bitcoin's appeal as a different kind of asset, especially when the economy feels shaky. Some investors are turning to it as a hedge against inflation, a way to store value, like gold has been for ages. This record ratio kind of fuels that idea.
That makes sense. But with all this talk about Bitcoin and stablecoins, is Ethereum getting left behind?
Not at all. Ethereum's DeFi scene is booming, particularly in liquid restaking.
Liquid restaking. That sounds interesting, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Think of it like this. Imagine you put money in a high-yield savings account, but you can still use that money for things like shopping online or paying bills.
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
That's what liquid restaking offers with crypto. You earn rewards on your staked Ethereum while still being able to use it in other DeFi protocols. The report says there's a whopping $17 billion locked in liquid restaking.
Wow, that's huge. But there have to be risks involved too, right?
Of course, there's always a trade-off. With that flexibility comes the risk of, for example, your staked assets losing their peg, kind of like we discussed with stablecoins. Plus, there's the volatility of the derivative tokens representing your staked Ethereum, the ups and downs.
So before jumping into liquid restaking, it's important to understand both sides of the coin, the potential rewards and the risks.
Exactly. High rewards often come with higher risks. It's about making informed decisions. It's like every part of the crypto market is buzzing with something new. Even the traditional financial players are starting to notice.
Yeah, for real. The report even mentions Bitpanda, that European crypto exchange. They just got the green light from Dubai to set up shop in the UAE.
It's interesting, right? The UAE seems to be turning into a crypto hub.
Definitely seems that way. What do you think is driving that?
Well, they've taken a pretty proactive approach to regulating crypto, which makes it attractive to businesses and investors. They see the potential of blockchain, trying to build a supportive environment for it all. It could have a big impact, not just in the Middle East, but globally.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how different countries are handling this. Some are all in, others are still hesitant. Speaking of hesitant, the report also talks about Binance.
Oh yeah, the world's biggest exchange.
Right, but they're in a bit of an IP dispute.
It seems like it. They're caught up in a legal battle over this meme coin, PNUT. Apparently, the guy who created Peanut the Squirrel claims Binance used his character without asking. Raises some interesting questions about intellectual property in this whole decentralized world.
For sure. It's a good reminder that even though it feels like this borderless digital space, those real-world rules still apply. On a lighter note, though, there are rumors swirling about OpenSea.
Yes, OpenSea, the big NFT marketplace. What have they been up to?
Well, word on the street is they might be planning an airdrop.
Oh, interesting. Rewarding those early users, huh? Airdrops can be a smart way to engage the community and create some buzz.
Makes sense. But wouldn't a bunch of new tokens flooding in like that potentially lead to volatility? I mean, prices could go haywire.
It's a valid point. Airdrops do tend to attract those looking to make a quick buck, which can definitely cause some price swings in the short term. Be interesting to see how OpenSea manages that if it does happen.
For sure. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Bitcoin's dominance, stablecoins, DeFi, those regulatory headaches, even potential airdrops. It's a whirlwind out there.
It always is in the crypto world. Actually, you know what else caught my eye in the report? It was about MRA Holdings.
MRA Holdings. Refresh my memory. What do they do again?
They're a big player in Bitcoin mining, and get this, there are rumors that they might be added to the NASDAQ 100 index soon.
Whoa, that's a huge deal. A Bitcoin mining company in the NASDAQ 100. Talk about mainstream acceptance.
Right. It shows how those lines between traditional finance and the crypto world are getting blurrier and blurrier.
It really does. So with all of this happening, what are some of the biggest risks and opportunities you see right now? What should we really be paying attention to?
That's the question, isn't it? On the risk side, well, we've already touched on some of them. Regulatory uncertainty, the potential for those stablecoins to lose their peg, the inherent volatility that comes with crypto. But you also can't forget about scams and security breaches.
Yeah, those are still out there. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement and let your guard down.
Definitely. You always have to be cautious. But on the flip side, the opportunities are still enormous, even with the risks. I'm still a big believer in the power of blockchain technology, and I think we're only just beginning to see what it can do.
I agree. It feels like we're at the very start of something big. What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of crypto?
I'd say the development of DeFi, the growth of these Web3 applications, the way institutions are getting more and more involved, all of those trends are pointing toward a future where crypto is a bigger part of our lives.
It's pretty mind-blowing to think about. With all this innovation, do you think Bitcoin can hold on to its top spot? I mean, can it stay dominant?
That's the million-dollar question. Bitcoin is the OG, the original, most established crypto. But it's facing more competition than ever before.
Right, there's so much new stuff coming out all the time.
Exactly. Ethereum, with its smart contracts and that whole DeFi ecosystem, is a strong contender. And then you have all these emerging technologies like Layer 2 scaling solutions and those interoperability protocols that could change everything.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on the edge of a major shift, and who knows what the next few years will bring.
I agree. And for anyone listening, the key is to stay informed, Do your research. Be ready to adapt. This crypto world never stands still.
Wow, we've really gone deep on this one. Bitcoin, stablecoins, DeFi, liquid restaking, all those regulations. It's clear the crypto market's not for the faint of heart.
You got that right. It's a wild ride for sure. But before we wrap up, I think there's one more question we need to tackle. It kind of underpins all this, you know?
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What's the big question?
Value. What actually gives a cryptocurrency value?
That's a good one. I mean, is it scarcity? Is it usefulness? Is it how widely it's adopted? The technology behind it? Or maybe like a mix of everything?
You hit the nail on the head. It's probably different for different cryptos.
Right. It's not one size fits all.
Exactly. Take Bitcoin, for example. A lot of people see it as a store of value because it's scarce, limited supply, and it's decentralized. But then you have stablecoins. Their value is all about that peg to fiat currency. And with DeFi tokens, their value might be tied to how useful the protocol is.
So there's no easy answer. And this whole crypto market is still developing, so how we view value is probably going to keep changing too.
You got it. And for anyone who's new to this, it can be pretty overwhelming. Do your research, understand what can affect a cryptocurrency's value, and don't forget about the risks.
Great advice. Crypto has a lot of potential, sure, but it's not some magic money machine. It takes careful thought, informed decisions, and a long-term view.
Couldn't agree more. And beyond the financial side of things, it's fascinating to think about the bigger picture. How might crypto change our financial systems, economies, maybe even our societies down the road?
Those are some big questions, and I don't think anyone has all the answers yet, but hey, that's part of what makes this so exciting, right?
Absolutely. It's a journey of discovery. But before we go, I want to leave our listeners with one last thought.
Okay, I'm all ears.
This crypto space, it never stops evolving. New projects pop up every day, new tech is always developing, new challenges keep coming. So stay curious, stay informed, be ready to adapt. The future of crypto is being written right now, and we're all part of it.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure. And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep into this fascinating world.